Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into an essential topic for every man who wants to thrive. No matter how much the world changes, some things remain constant. Strength, resilience, and capability have always defined true masculinity. But here's the issue. Too many men today lack the foundational skills to navigate life effectively. Whether handling conflict, managing stress, or building financial security, these abilities aren't just functional, they're necessary. Unfortunately, many have been misled into thinking that men and women are identical in every way. The truth, a man who is unprepared, unskilled, and unsure of himself will struggle, not because the world is unfair, but because he never developed the tools to succeed. In this video, we're breaking down 6 essential skills every man must master. These are not outdated ideas or relics of the past. They are timeless principles that separate men who succeed from those who merely get by. You must learn these skills to command respect, take control of your life, and build a future on your terms. Stick around until the end, because mastering these 6 areas will completely shift how you carry yourself and approach life. Let's get started. 1. Knowing how to fight. Knowing how to fight isn't about seeking violence or displaying dominance in unnecessary conflicts. It's about possessing the quiet assurance that if a situation demands action, you won't hesitate. A man's ability to defend himself and his loved ones is an unspoken yet crucial part of his presence. Whether he is a businessman, a musician, or a teacher, his understanding of confrontation or his lack of it shapes how he is perceived. Strength isn't just physical, it's the ability to act without fear, hesitation, or uncertainty when needed. Imagine walking down the street with your wife or girlfriend. Someone crosses the line out of nowhere. Maybe it's a crude remark, inappropriate touch, or blatant disrespect. In that moment, time slows, and your reaction, or lack of one, becomes a defining event. Calling the police might be the logical solution, but it does nothing to erase the immediate reality. Looking away, pretending it didn't happen, might seem like a way to avoid trouble, but both of you know the truth. Respect has been lost. Not just hers for you, but yours for yourself. A woman might never say it outright, but she feels it, and a shift occurs in that silent space between words, subtle but irreversible. Many modern men convince themselves that avoiding confrontation is a noble choice, and that turning the other cheek is wisdom. But what they call wisdom is often fear wrapped in justification. There's a difference between picking fights recklessly and refusing to be walked over. The first rule of knowing how to fight is when to walk away. The second rule is knowing when walking away is no longer an option. When that moment comes, the man trained and prepared for a situation he hopes never happens responds with controlled, precise action. He doesn't flail unthinkingly or throw punches in a rage. He moves with intention. A simple feint to draw attention, a sharp, well-placed strike to turn off the threat. A fight should end before it truly begins. But without training, a man who believes he can fight is just another man with misplaced confidence. Strength without skill is nothing but wasted energy. A faithful protector doesn't seek out fights. He doesn't carry himself with forced aggression or empty bravado. Instead, he moves through the world with quiet confidence, an internal knowing that, if the time ever comes, he won't hesitate. Because hesitation in moments like these is the difference between respect and regret. 2. The ability to diffuse conflict. A strong man understands that authentic leadership is not about proving dominance through sheer force, but knowing when and how to prevent conflict before it begins. A man who commands respect does not need to engage in unnecessary battles. His presence alone sets the tone. Much like an alpha gorilla who maintains order among his group not by constant aggression but through silent authority and strategic action, a leader in human interactions can create stability simply by how he carries himself. He is not easily provoked, nor does he allow emotions to cloud his judgment. He does not need to demand respect. It is naturally given because he exudes control. The key to diffusing conflict lies in composure. When tensions rise, the weaker man reacts on impulse, his emotions driving him toward aggression, overreaction, or defensiveness. He must prove his worth is tied to whether he wins or loses the exchange. The stronger man, however, understands that power is not about being the loudest or the most intimidating. It is about knowing when to act and let things go. He remains calm, reading the situation and responding in a way that neutralizes hostility rather than fuels it. His strength is not in physicality alone, but in the mastery of his reactions. He does not escalate, he takes control. This ability to lead and resolve tension stems from confidence and capability. Strength and diplomacy are not opposing forces, they work in tandem. A man who has never been tested or faced real confrontation often lacks the confidence to diffuse conflict effectively. He may try to posture or prove himself, but deep down he harbors uncertainty. In contrast, a man who has trained, faced challenges, and knows he can handle himself physically and mentally possesses an unshakable calm. He does not need to prove his power, he simply embodies it. Consider a scenario where two men encounter a heated exchange. One allows his ego to dictate his actions, raising his voice, engaging in a back and forth of verbal aggression, and pushing the situation toward physical confrontation. The other remains composed, his tone measured, his presence unwavering. He controls the room's energy and does not shrink back or escalate. The tension dissipates because he does not engage in the game of emotional escalation. Those around him recognize his quiet authority, and in doing so they defer to him. Mastering conflict resolution is not about avoiding all confrontations, nor is it about dominating every interaction. It is about understanding the dynamics of power, knowing when to assert oneself and when to step back. The strongest man is not the one who fights the most, but the one who fights the least, because he does not need to. His power is not in his ability to win battles, but in his ability to prevent them altogether. He creates an environment where respect is a given, unnecessary aggression has no place, and those around him instinctively recognize his presence as one of stability and control. 3. Having a strong presence. Some men can walk into a room and immediately command respect without saying a word. This isn't about wealth, appearance, or status. It's about presence. The quiet confidence emanates from someone who knows who they are and is unafraid to be themselves. Presence isn't something you're born with. It's something you create. It's the product of constant, deliberate effort. Building presence begins with small, seemingly insignificant habits. A firm handshake that doesn't try too hard but conveys strength and warmth. It's making eye contact in conversations, not staring down others but holding their gaze to show you are present in the moment. A man with a presence doesn't slouch or walk with his head down. He stands tall with his shoulders back and chest out, as if he is proud of who he is. When he walks into a room, he doesn't look away from others. He acknowledges them with a nod or a subtle smile, showing that he is fully aware of his surroundings and the people within them. The truth is that, Charisma, the quality that makes someone magnetic, is learned. It's similar to learning a new language or mastering a skill. Some men try to fake confidence, thinking that if they appear self-assured, others will believe it. But it's easy to spot inauthenticity. A handshake that's too firm, a gaze that's too intense, all the need to dominate a conversation. All of these attempts at confidence only serve to make the man seem insecure. Actual presence comes from being comfortable in your skin, not trying to prove something to anyone. One of the best ways to build a presence is to surround yourself with men who already have it. Find mentors who exude quiet confidence, men who are strong but not arrogant, who command respect but don't seek it. These can be fathers, uncles, respected elders, or even members of a fighting club. While fighters are trained to be physically strong, the best are often the most disciplined, composed, and respectful. They understand that true power lies not in aggression or showmanship, but self-control and restraint. They know when to speak, when to act, and when to remain silent. This kind of presence doesn't just impact how men interact with one another, it catches the attention of women too. Women are drawn to men who seem solid and stand confidently in their own space without asking for validation. There's an undeniable attraction to someone who has mastered their energy and doesn't need to be the center of attention to make their presence felt. Women notice when a man walks with purpose, holds himself with dignity, and interacts with others from a place of inner strength. Presence is magnetic, it's powerful, and it's something that can be cultivated. The man who builds presence doesn't chase validation or try to win others over. He knows genuine respect and admiration are earned simply by being who he is. When you reach that level of self-assurance, the world begins to recognize you for who you are, not for who you're trying to be. And in that space, you don't just command respect, you inspire it. 4. Deep thinking and critical thinking. In relationships, the ability to think critically can be a game changer. Women are drawn to men who engage in thoughtful conversations and make decisions based on reflection, not impulse. Critical thinking is more than just questioning what's around you. It's about understanding the bigger picture and making choices that align with your values, not just convenience. When a man can challenge assumptions, including his own, he demonstrates an intellectual strength that women find attractive. It's not just about being right, but about being open to new perspectives, examining ideas from all angles, and being willing to change your mind when presented with new evidence. This kind of intellectual flexibility shows maturity and self-awareness. Too often, people unquestioningly accept information because it's what they've always been told. Women in particular value a man who doesn't simply take things at face value, but questions assumptions and seeks out the truth. A man who can listen, reflect, and consider multiple viewpoints before making decisions creates a dynamic and engaging environment in his relationships. For example, in a conversation, rather than agreeing with everything a woman says to avoid conflict, a man gently challenges her point of view or presents an alternative opinion that shows depth. It's not about being combative, but encouraging a healthy exchange of ideas. This makes interactions far more interesting and meaningful. Critical thinking also leads to better life choices. Men who are thoughtful in decision-making make choices that support their long-term goals, not just short-term satisfaction. This can be seen in how they handle relationship challenges, approaching them with a level-headed mindset rather than reacting impulsively. This calm, reflective approach attracts women, signaling maturity and stability. In relationships, critically assessing situations, people, and beliefs improves the quality of interactions and strengthens the connection. Women want a partner who doesn't just follow the crowd but thinks for himself, and is open to growth and self-improvement. A man not afraid to question the status quo and examine his beliefs becomes a partner and a true equal in the relationship. Ultimately, critical thinking is about embracing learning and growth. It's a continuous journey that makes a man more intriguing, reliable, and capable of building a fulfilling relationship. 5. Being good with money. In today's world, many men struggle with money simply because they were never taught how to manage it. Despite being one of the most crucial life skills, financial literacy is often overlooked in schools and universities. Most are led to believe that economic security is only achievable through a salary-based job, a misconception that limits growth and financial independence. The reality is that financial freedom doesn't come from earning more. It comes from knowing how to handle the money you already have. Developing financial intelligence means understanding how money works and making strategic decisions that build wealth over time. It's about thinking beyond the paycheck and focusing on long-term growth. Books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad challenge the traditional mindset and introduce new ways of thinking about money, teaching you how to make money work for you instead of working for your money. You must start by mastering essential skills to transform your financial future. The first is budgeting. Knowing where your money is going allows you to allocate funds wisely, cutting unnecessary expenses while investing in your future. Next, making informed investment decisions is key. This doesn't mean taking wild risks, but understanding the value of building assets that appreciate over time, like real estate or stocks. Avoiding unnecessary debt is another fundamental step in building wealth. Too many men fall into the trap of relying on credit, which keeps them tethered to their financial mistakes. By paying down high-interest debts and avoiding lifestyle inflation, you can gradually free up more resources to invest in assets that grow wealth. Lastly, learning about passive income sources, money that flows in without you actively working for it, can be a game changer. Whether through investments, royalties, or starting a side business, passive income can provide the financial freedom that allows you to live life on your terms. Mastering financial intelligence isn't about being rich overnight. It's about controlling your money, making wise decisions, and understanding that wealth is built over time. When you shift your mindset to think strategically about your finances, you're not just setting yourself up for success, but creating a legacy. The freedom that comes from financial literacy isn't just about the money you have, it's about the control you gain over your own life. 6. Learning to manage stress. How a man handles stress is often the determining factor between success and failure. Whether in his personal life, at work, or in relationships, the ability to stay composed under pressure separates the leaders from the followers. When stress arises, the man who panics or lets it overwhelm him often struggles, while the one who remains calm and calculated rises above. This emotional resilience isn't something that happens overnight, but is built through practice and self-discipline. Stress often comes from a straightforward thing: procrastination. The longer we delay tasks, the more we allow the pressure to build up. And as the deadlines loom, the mental weight becomes unbearable. This is where effective time management becomes crucial. Start by writing down all the tasks you need to complete. Break them into smaller chunks and prioritize them by importance and urgency. Instead of letting them pile up, tackle one task at a time. It's easy to get caught in the trap of multitasking, but it only leads to more stress and less productivity. Focus on being proactive. Anticipate stress rather than reacting to it when it's too late. It's important to remember that social expectations shape how stress is viewed. Women often receive sympathy or understanding when they struggle with pressure. For men, however, there's an unspoken expectation to maintain composure and perform at all times. There's little room for vulnerability in the face of stress. Men are expected to handle it without complaint. This is why building resilience becomes paramount. Rather than letting stress control you, learn to prevent it. Develop strategies to stay ahead of your responsibilities. Avoid waiting until the last minute to tackle your tasks. When you do this, you not only ease the mental strain, but also gain confidence in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. Mastering these 6 essential skills isn't just about becoming a stronger man. It's about creating a life where you are in control, prepared for challenges, and respected for who you are. The world will always present obstacles, whether conflict, financial struggles, or the pressure to perform. Still, the difference between those who succeed and those who falter lies in their ability to develop the right mindset and capability. Being able to defend yourself doesn't mean seeking fights. It means having the confidence to stand your ground and protect what matters. Knowing how to de-escalate conflict is just as crucial as learning how to win. Commanding respect without saying a word isn't about arrogance. It's about cultivating a presence that naturally earns admiration. Thinking critically ensures that you don't just follow the crowd unthinkingly, but make informed, strategic decisions that shape your future. Financial intelligence allows you to build a stable, prosperous life where you are not dependent on anyone else for security. Mastering stress separates those who thrive under pressure from those who break down in the face of adversity. These are not just random traits, but the building blocks of a capable, self-sufficient man. In today's world, too many men are told that these skills don't matter, that masculinity itself is outdated, or that success will come naturally without effort. The reality is different. No one is coming to save you, and no one will hand you the life you want. You must take control, develop these skills, and create a future where you survive and thrive. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which skills do you believe are the most important in today's world? Have you faced struggles in mastering any of them? What lessons have you learned along the way? Share your experiences in the comments below so we can continue this discussion. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated with more personal growth, self-mastery, and success content. Keep pushing forward, keep improving, and I'll see you in the next one.